Welcome to the ship tour video for the Azamara Pursuit. The Pursuit was built in 2001, but it was only acquired by Azamara in 2017, and it went an extensive refit in 2018. You honestly would not know that the ship was that old. The ship is almost as old as me, and it just looks brand new. It has 11 decks and 700 passengers on board, and we took this footage in November 2023. On deck 4, you have staterooms, and we'll be doing an ocean view obstructed versus unobstructed, the guaranteed versus the club ocean view staterooms video, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. But besides the staterooms, you have the concierge and the guest relations on deck 4. There's also the grand staircase with a very peculiar piece of art as you go up it. This staircase takes you to the Mosaic Café, which is just a lovely little cafe with different bites throughout the day and evening. It has really good quality coffee and everything here is complimentary. There's plenty of seating and you can get things to eat in or take away, which was really handy for me because you could get a coffee to take off the ship in a little takeaway cup, or your mint tea before bed. Next to the cafe are the shops. You've got Indulgences, which is the jewelry shop, which is really great quality, everything in there. None of it was tacky, which you can find on the bigger lines. And they also take onboard credit, which is really great because we've met so many couples who had too much onboard credit and they would literally just go and buy a watch for the sake of it, just to get rid of their onboard credit, which is pretty crazy to me. Azamara also had a lot of really great Azamara merch, which we actually bought some, and we literally never buy onboard merch, but we just felt like we had to this time because it was such good stuff. Past the shops is the den, and this was one of our favourite areas on the ship. It's a cocktail bar and lounge with plenty of seating, and usually there's a singer pianist playing in there about 3 times a day, mostly in the evenings, that we would always go and watch. Shout out to the lovely Alexa, who we absolutely adored, so talented, and it really just gave the bar a really cozy, classy vibe. It was so homely in there. It was one of the favourite places on the ship for us. To note as well, on Azamara they do complimentary drinks, alcohol and non-alcoholic, so there was always a drink to get. You could also pay more for speciality ones in this bar. We never did it, but they did look and smell amazing. Alongside the den is the photo shop where you can go and buy your professional pictures. Now, we actually found this was quite reasonable. Pictures here were $12 a piece. For the white night ones, it was $15. We never buy pictures on board. We think they're a bit overpriced, to be honest, especially when you can just take pictures with your phone these days. They're almost as good. But we actually did buy one in the end of the white night because it was such a special night, which I'll also be doing a separate video on about what is the white night. But it was just so close to our hearts that we did buy a picture in the end, and we framed it, and it was just such a lovely way to capture the moment. And also in that area in the den, you do have the cruise again and loyalty section, as well as the short excursions desk, and they were only open a couple times a day, but they were super handy. And although it felt a little bit weird to have them in a bar, it made it actually really accessible, and you wouldn't forget that you had to go and see them for something. So it was a little bit weird. It wasn't a design flaw. At the front of the ship on deck 5, behind the den, you have the Cabaret. This is the theatre area on the ship where they do lots of shows and other events like bingo. They literally had a upgrade to the master suite for the rest of the voyage, win another cruise bingo, normal bingo, which we actually won. There's plenty of seating in the Cabaret. There was always seats even when we went in late, even if it was at the back, and I was pleasantly surprised at how good the view was from the back. And talking of the back, there's a bar in there as well, so you can always get drinks, and there was just always waiters walking around serving drinks before and throughout the shows. I literally never went thirsty on this ship. They were just always trying to give me a drink. At the back of deck 5 is the Discovery's bar and restaurant. There's a bar in the entrance to the restaurant, which is great for pre-dinner drinks or meetups, and the chairs were really comfortable in here. I think I'm going to say that there are comfortable chairs throughout the ship about 10 times in this video. And you then enter the restaurant, where we loved the decor. It was really clean, comfortable and classic, which I could probably brand the whole ship as. There were no assigned tables, but we often went back to the same area for dinner because we always asked for our same waiter. Our favourite guy, Jeffrey, he was amazing, and I recommend doing that because then they get to know you and kind of can just serve you what you like automatically, which was a really personable service for us. If we get the lift from there up to deck 9, because 6 and 8 are exclusively staterooms, we'll reach the Windows Cafe, arguably the most important part of the ship, the buffet. The cafe has lots of really comfortable seating against full-length windows, so it's a really great place to sit and just look out. And they had a few self-service drink stations, so you didn't always have to wait on somebody to get you a drink, and they had coffee, tea, coffee machines as well, which were free, which had really good quality coffee in it. The buffet itself was pretty small, but it had all that you needed, so generally it was delicious. And a lovely bit of the buffet was the outside area at the back, which was mostly covered, so you could be shaded from the sun, but if you wanted to be in the sun, you could sit further out and appreciate all the views still. So that was just a really lovely area as well to the buffet. Going from the Windows Cafe to the pool deck is the Patio Grill, and this was, I'm gonna say it was our favourite venue on the ship. Even if we were out wandering around a new town, it was like, we've got to be back for midday because we're going to be the first people at the Patio Grill. It had more grill style food like burgers, hot dogs, sandwiches, nachos. You'll hear a lot about it in the dining guide, and it was just perfect for lunch.
Hi, welcome to Patio!
If food is one of your favourite things on a cruise, please like this video and subscribe and keep an eye out for our dining guide. Also, by the Patio Grill was the complimentary froyo machine, which I was a fiend at because they had like a bar area as well of toppings, and it was just like, it blew my mind. Out by the pool was the pool bar to get drinks, but we rarely went up there since there was always people wandering around the pool area offering to get us drinks. By the pool area is the smoking area, which is a good thing or a bad thing depending on which side of that you're on, but that is something to be aware of. The pool area itself was really lovely, and a big win for me was the cushioned lounges, which is really quite difficult to find on a cruise ship. Like only the high-end cruise ships seem to have cushioned lounges, and good cushioned lounges at that as well. The pool was salt water, which I didn't really like, but that's a personal opinion. And it was pretty small, but it was big enough to just take a dip. But if you wanted to do some legs in the morning, it wouldn't have been big enough. If you aren't a fan of the sun, the covered area was a perfect area to enjoy the views but still be outside, and they had ceiling fans as well, which I thought was amazing. Like, I've never seen ceiling fans outside on the pool deck. And we also loved the round couples beds. I mean, I'm pretty sure we just exclusively occupied one of them the whole time. We never had to go up early onto the pool deck to save seats. There were just always seats around. The front of Deck 9 was home to the Sanctum, which is the ship's spa, steam room and gym. I didn't go into the spa, unfortunately, so I didn't really get any footage of the spa itself, but the door to the right of this lobby area is the gym. It was a really spacious gym with plenty of machines for such a small ship. It was honestly one of the best gyms I've seen for a ship that size. And they also had a room attached on the end for classes, which were free, I believe. Can you imagine doing a free spin or yoga class with this beautiful view? It was just an amazing gym. A hop up to Deck 10 above the gym was the living room. This was also one of our favourite places on the ship. It's got beautiful views all over and comfortable chairs, and the band would often play up here on the stage with late night parties which would take place here. During the day, it would be a place to just come and relax, read a book, or do some trivia. Not to mention these lounge beds. I've only ever seen these on Celebrity also, and I just fall in love with the ship as soon as they have them. But these beds where you can just lay and look out and read a book, and I walked in and saw people having a nap multiple times on them. There's also a bar in here, and they have tapas snacks for when the main dining room isn't open or the buffet's not open, and they also do afternoon tea up here. There's also a section in the living room where they have plenty of board games where you can just rock up and play, including Scrabble, chess, checkers, even a puzzle table, which I didn't get footage of because there was always somebody at it, and colouring, which is a secret favourite of ours. There's also 4 computers up here if you ever need to use one. Also to note, throughout the ship there were deck plans wherever you went, with directions as well to go to wherever you want to go, which made it super easy to navigate the ship. Out from here is the jogging track. This is where we often admired the sunsets, and it had a great view of the pool. 14.5 laps was a mile, and there was always people out here getting their steps in. There's also a table tennis or ping pong table depending on where you're from. And just a quick trip up from here to Deck 11, which is only accessible via stairs, was the top deck. It was always super quiet and it had a great sun trap. There was also a shuffleboard area and some extra beds, and even a large bed and an egg chair, which had even better views over the ship. Back down to Deck 10, and across the way, looking out to the pool, is the drawing room. The drawing room is a beautiful lounge area, which we hardly ever saw anyone in, and it's just a quiet space to escape to. It had this beautiful ceiling and a grand piano in it, which David absolutely loved tinkering on, and you often could because nobody was ever in there. And they also had daily crosswords in here, and the walls were lined with books, which you could just come and take, and they had like a section where you could swap in books, like books that you owned, or just ones to borrow, and they had a genre of literally everything. There would have been something for everybody, so you won't go short of a book on this cruise. Just outside of the drawing rooms was the Speciality restaurants. You have Aqualina, an Italian restaurant, and Primacy, which was the Speciality steak restaurant. I didn't get much footage of these despite us going to them 3 times, but they had a mirrored layout. So here's a little sneak peek of Aqualina when it was a bit empty and we were walking through to our table. And there's also a bar where you can get pre-dinner drinks in there as well. To find out more of what we thought about the Speciality restaurants, check out our dining guide, which is coming soon. We absolutely loved the Pursuit, so please keep an eye out for our other videos on it that will be coming soon. And thanks for watching.